Right, hi guys. So I've set a timer. As soon as this timer goes off, I've got to end the video. Right, so this is basically where I hope you'd at least gotten up to from the book. So I'm just going to basically talk a little bit about it and hopefully move everyone forward. So last time I wanted you to do exercise 9.3a. Now a lot of what we have in part 9.3, if I scroll back up, is stuff from GCSE. So you need to know about box and whisker plots. You need to know how to calculate the quartiles, and we've actually talked about that in class. And what's new here is this definition of an outlier, which I'm pretty sure you generally get given as part of a question rather than having to remember that, but it's not a particularly tricky thing to remember. So that's that, and of course it's like a GCSE where you would make some comparison, some statements about the median, some statements about the spread. So there's not really, and frequency polygons. Back at GCSE, they were kind of a bit weird, and here they are again. So histograms are very important, and there's not really a lot more to say about them at A level. When we're back at school, depending on how long it's going to be fair, what I did with the last time I had year 12 is when I was teaching this, I taught people how to sketch a histogram, so to very quickly get an overall picture of what the histogram looks like without having to do it accurately, and how that allows you to quite quickly get an estimate for the quartiles, get an estimate for the median as well. I might make a video on that, but it's something I prefer to show you in school. So this is all just part of the same chapter here, same part of the book. The whole n+1 thing when estimating the whereabouts is the median, whereabouts are the quartiles. When you're using a histogram, or you're using a what's it called again? Cumulative frequency graph. I've gone too far. Yeah, cumulative frequency curve, right? When you're using these, generally speaking, of course, it'll all be continuous data anyway. So your best estimate for the median is literally 50% into the data. The best estimate is 25% for the lower quartile and 75% for the upper quartile. So you just go to halfway on the cumulative frequency, or you just make half of the area from the left on a histogram. Fill that in and work out what the value would be, and that would be your estimate for the median. So okay, so you would have done some questions here. By the way, if I'm rambling or not making any sense or anything like that, send me an email. I am still yet to be asked a single question by anyone. Apart from one time I did have one question, and that was on Teams. Still not being asked a question. I know for a fact that there are some things in differentiation that people still don't get. I know that we haven't talked about this part of the book in a lot of detail. So I would think that there should be some questions, still not being asked any. And I feel like I've got to remind people, it's your A level. Okay, it's your own personal A level. Okay, it's not a shared A level. It's not the average of the class. It's not my A level. It's your personal A level. So you have to take ownership of that, and ask questions when you need to ask questions. And as I say, I've still not been asked any. So maybe that just means everyone's finding it all absolutely fine. That could also be an option, I suppose, right? Which would be great, obviously. But even then, you should still be trying to understand more, trying to push yourselves, and therefore be asking questions. Anyway, so maybe, because of course the last time I had any sort of contact with you was not the Monday just gone, but the week before, because of course we didn't have a lesson on last Thursday. So you might very well have already tried questions from exercise 9.3b, because that would be the natural thing to do once finishing 9.3a. So some of you may have already done some of these questions. If anyone wants me to go through any of them because they didn't get the answer in the back of the book, or they want an explanation or whatever, again, just send me an email, get in touch. I'm happy to help, okay? I will not in a video name anyone or point anyone out who's asked for help. I'll just make the video that goes through whatever question it is that person wants me to go through, and then that'll be it. So you really don't need to worry about asking for help. It's genuinely like I'm actively encouraging it. It's a really good thing to do, and you need to do this. So if you haven't already done, see how long we've got. 4 minutes left, right? Okay. If you haven't already done exercise 9.3b, you need to do this, okay? And you need to be able to get the answers right, okay? If you can't, you ask for some help. So what I would really like us to be able to start is this part 9.4, which is on page 252. So again, back at GCSE, you would have had scatter graphs where you've got basically two bits of information that are common to one thing, and so one measure goes along the x-axis, one measure goes up the y-axis, and then you get a point for that person. So it could be like a student. Each point is a student, and the x-axis is score on a maths test, the y-axis is score on an English test. You could have it could be different days for a shop selling ice cream, and up the y-axis it could be how hot was the day, and along the x-axis it could be how many ice creams did they sell on that day. And so you get a graph that looks a bit like these, right? And so you remember the keyword correlation, and if it's if it's close to a straight line, then that means there's some correlation. If it's going uphill, if it's got a positive gradient, it's got a positive correlation, or if it's going downhill, it's a negative correlation. So I need you to read all of this stuff. And basically what this part of the book is about is, it's not really any more complicated than that, except for this next part, which is where it itself gives you what's called the regression line, which is basically it is the line of best fit, and it's actually possible to, if I give you a scatter graph, it's possible, given all the points, to work out the best line of best fit, the perfect line of best fit, and actually work out what the equation of that is, y equals mx plus c. Okay, it's possible to do this. Now, you won't actually be asked to do that. What you will be asked to do is, given a regression line, so you would be given the line of best fit in the format y equals mx plus c, and then you would use that to make estimates, right? So if you are within the data, it is called interpolation, and if it goes beyond the data, that's called extrapolation. And even back at GCSE, you had to understand that extrapolation was generally a bad thing to do, because you can't be sure that the trend will continue, whereas interpolation is a lot safer to do. So this is not any more complicated really than what you would have ever done at GCSE, except you are now actually given the equation of the line of best fit. You won't be expected, so I keep looking down to check that I have 40 seconds left until I need to finish the video. If I do need a little bit extra, I will give myself extra, but hopefully I won't. You don't get asked to work out the line of best fit. You get given that, and then you might be asked to use it. So I would like you to, in today's lesson, basically start the process of finishing chapter 9, basically. Start the process of finishing chapter 9 so that we can be in a position to talk about something to do with an assessment. I'm also going to upload some questions for you to do that I'd like you to hand in to me, but I'll give you some more information about that actually on Teams. Right. Okay, again, any questions at all, please just let me know and I will help you out. Okay, bye-bye.